Well, good afternoon from me and my buddy here. Say hello, buddy. Hello, buddy. Okay. Okay, Charlie, can you sit down a minute? Sit down over there, buddy. There you go. So what was I going to say? Yeah, 46 South Devonshire Regiment. Done all the highlights on the trousers. More or less finished the highlights on the tunic. So, sort of starting to come along a bit now. So once we've done the highlights on the tunic, it'll be just what I call easier highlighting, which will be nice. Highlighting on the flesh tone, just adding the hair, leftover bits of kit that need doing, a bread bag, water pouch, water bottle. So it's, yeah, we're getting there. Not done anything today. I have to add, because I've been out getting a tooth filled, so that's what we've been doing. Couple of things I've got to say before I get on with what I was coming on here for. Really, and that is, Russian Quill came up with a great idea with regard to our Zvezda Napoleonic old guard. Now you remember we did a review on this box and I was griping that I didn't like that figure there. Stood to attention with the rifle sort of up like that. I said, you know, what the hell are you going to do with it? And I wanted 2 battalions out of that one box, so how was I going to get around that? I was going to have to convert these figures, blah 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 blah. And he came up with a great idea, which I just didn't think of for some bizarre reason. Why don't you use those for guarding the standard bearer? You could have one either side of the standard bearer, guarding the standard bearer, or guarding the musicians, because the musicians are unarmed. So you could use them sort of in that context, which is a great idea, something I didn't think of. And it would save me a lot of work converting these figures, so that's something I may well do. So thank you very much for a very good idea. I was also earlier watching a video by Von Ketteringham. And if you haven't subscribed to this gentleman's videos, ladies and gentlemen, you should do, because they're well worth watching. They're very good. Subscribe immediately. He was talking about, he had some American Civil War figures, and I assume they were metal, because that's sort of mostly what he paints. And he was talking about mold lines down the center of the face, and it must be something to do with the mold sort of doing that, or if you can see it easier, sort of that, because that's sort of how they look. One half of the face is set slightly back from the other, so you get like a, and I've had this problem, and many of you have had this problem with plastic figures, particularly the, how can I put it, lesser browns of plastic figures. They've, as he was saying, it must be something to do with the mold sort of moving. There's something in the process, and it leaves this down the center of the face. You would think, actually, they would have a way of stopping this from happening with their molds. I'd love to know how they make these figures. Injection molded, I'm sure, into, I would assume, metal molds, rather than rubber. I mean, I have made metal figures at home, and I've used silicone rubber molds, but when you make your mold, you always put things in place within the mold to stop the 2 halves from moving. So I don't know, I wonder really how this is happening. And I think his first name is Fraser, isn't it? He's found even with metal figures. So yeah, I'd love to see a video or a program on how they make miniatures. That would be really interesting, particularly the plastic ones, what sort of plastic they use, and how they go about the process. That would be really interesting. I wonder whether there's anything on YouTube that shows this, but maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just when the molds get a bit tired, they get a bit old, they've done a lot of work, maybe they get worn, I don't know, but obviously it does happen, and you get miniatures with, yeah. So that was an interesting little thing in one of his videos. What I really came on here for was the Zvezda French currassiars. I went into town today whilst I was having my tooth filled. I went to the parcels office and picked this box up. And these are supposed to be really, really good currassiars. And from what I've seen on YouTube, when they're painted, they really are nice. I'm just looking at the box now to see what else Zvezda do. Polish Uhlans, Russian heavy artillery with crew, Russian currassiers. That's the trouble with these boxes, isn't it? You see other stuff and you immediately want it, and that's how we build up a plastic mountain or a metal mountain. I mean, just the way it is. But I've had a sneak preview at these. I haven't, or didn't, get a chance to go on to the Plastic Soldier Review website and see what these scored, which is something I should have done really. And as you'll notice, these are in Zvezda's uniquely gaudy blue plastic, which I absolutely hate, just because I don't like looking at it. The colour just does something to my eyes. But what I do like about these is the stand is all molded into one on the horse, which is nice. And that means that you get 19 figures to a box. Unlike figures that have the stand separate, you tend to get sort of like 12 to a box. So you get more bang for your buck, which is to be commended. Zvezda are to be commended for that. Yeah, the detail is very, very nice. What they have, although I'm not sure I will use this facility. In fact, I'm almost guarantee I won't use this facility. What they have... Charlie, can you move out the way here a minute? Sorry, my buddy's in the way here. Why are you in the way? Because I'll tell you later, Charlie. What they have is little lugs sticking out of the legs, which go into little holes in the horses. Now that's okay if you're going to glue the rider to the horse first. Do it that way, yeah, that's probably fine. Me, I like to paint horse and rider separate and pin rider to horse. So I'm going to be cutting those lugs off because I can see immediately that if you painted both separate and went to fit them, you'd end up scratching the paint on the horse. So I'm going to cut those lugs off and just do it my usual way. Drill a hole in the saddle and drill a hole in the base of the rider and then just pin them. But yeah, it's okay if you want to glue the rider to the horse first. That's actually something that a lot of manufacturers don't do. They just make the horse and the rider separate with no lugs, and it's yeah. So I suppose is it a good thing to have? Yeah, I suppose so. But it depends how you like to mount your rider to your horse, whether that's a good thing or not. But the detail is very nice on these figures, I have to say. A little bit of flash, but nothing that we're going to worry about. I mean, I must go on the Plastic Soldier Review website and see what they scored. I really must. The swords are nice. They're not too thick. They don't look too thick or too sort of cumbersome, which is nice. I mean, the detailing on the saddles is just beautiful. I mean, on the sheepskin saddle blankets there, you probably can't see it on this because it just doesn't show, but round the edge of the sheepskin saddle cloth they've even got the wolf's teeth, which is just fantastic for detail. It's just beautiful. And like I say, you get 19 figures for your however much you pay for them, wherever you buy them from. I mean, I paid for mine, I paid for this pack on eBay $9.99 with no postage. So what does that work out at? That works out at about 52.5 pence a figure, which is fantastic. I mean, that's just, yeah, I mean, I'm really I can't say a lot more about these actually. I would like, actually, if I'm ultra critical, I would like to have some of the horses going at full bore. Now this is something I've noticed in one or two packs of cavalry before. The horses all seem to be at a canter or a trot. They don't seem to be going at any great speed, at any great hurry. As you can see here with these horses are not in any great rush, and the same with these. You get 3 of these sprees exactly the same. I think they're all the same, aren't they? Yeah, all the same. You can see the horses there. I mean, that's that horse there. That's about as quick as it gets. So I personally, I'd like to see something a little bit quicker, because some of these figures, like that figure and that one, they want to be on a horse that's really going for it, you know what I mean? But I'm being ultra critical now. I mean, it's not really a lot I can say about these, to be honest with you, because the detailing is beautiful. I mean, it's just, yeah, I think if you buy a box of these, you won't be disappointed, put it that way. And I have to say, these are a lot better than Airfix currassiars, for sure. But then you think about it, The Airfix currassiers I have, like a lot of people have, they were made way, way, way long ago. Whereas, you know, we're getting more up to date now, so techniques move on for molding and making these things, so you can get better detail and so on and so forth. But these are, yeah, you can just tell these are better than the Airfix currassiers. So what I'm going to do later is I'm going to go and have a look on the Plastic Soldier Review website and see what these scored. I would think these would score pretty highly. I'll bet your bottom dollar on that. Yeah, so nice detailing. Like I said, the only fault I can give them really is I'd like to see a horse or two going a bit faster gallop. But outside of that, can't fault them. 19 figures in a box for whatever you pay for them. You can't go wrong at that. I got them for, like I said, about 52.5 a figure, which is like, and I can see that, instantly see that when you've painted these are going to look really, really nice. So I think Zvezda have done a nice job on these. There's one figure here there's a rifle here. So I'm now looking to see which figure that goes on, and I can't seem to see it. Or whether it goes on a horse or something. There's one or two little, I've noticed, whether it's just with this particular box, I don't know, or every box is the same. I'd be interested to see another box of these. One or two of the figures just on, oh, you can see it on the corner of that figure there on the elbow, it's gone black for some reason. It shouldn't make any difference in the final painting of these figures, I'm sure. I mean, this horse here, it's done the same on the snout. It's almost like the plastic has got almost like too hot, and it's sort of burnt, as plastic does. When you heat it up, it sort of burns a bit, but it shouldn't make any difference in the final painting. But yeah, that rifle obviously goes somewhere. I'll find out eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, if you're going to buy a box of currassiers, buy a box of the Zvezda ones. They're very, very nice. Will paint up very, very well, I'm sure. 19 figures in a box. You can't go wrong at that. What more can I say? Thanks for watching.